I was just walking on the land, and the sun hit the wood pile, and I just got to thinking. I really got to meditating. Now, what is a wood pile have to do with your thoughts and what you're meditating on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Growing up, uh, we were poor. You know what I'm saying? Living in the projects, and it was tough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was one of those things. This is why I think I gravitated so much towards prepping, because you know your childhood, the experiences that you've had growing up will shape you. It will shape you. Some people, they grew up in a drug infested family where mama used drugs and they used drugs, and so therefore the children wouldn't use drugs. The mama was a whore, so the daughter turned out to be a whore. The father was a pimp, you know what I'm saying, or somebody a drug dealer, so the son turned around to be a drug dealer. I mean, they experienced what caused them to be the kind of individuals they are today. And this is the generational curses. These are the situations that transpire as a direct result of this. But, growing up poor and not having the basic necessities to live, and then going to, being raised primarily in foster care after that. But not having the basic resources, food, heat, clothing, shelter, being denied that shaped me. It told me, and I vowed growing up the kind of man that I wanted to be. And so I sought out the men that exemplified that in my life, and I've spoken about many of them: Benjamin Chavis, Vincent Bertoloni, Tim Whalen, Alfred B. Curtis, Alan Relkin. These are people that, just some of the people in the life that poured into me, invested in me, but I admired what they did, wherever they did. And they took me under their wing, and they showed me some things in life. And this is why I've been able to avoid a lot of dumb shit, because, going back to the wisdom of these men, very successful men, very powerful men in their fields. Sure, were they flawed, but they knew what they were talking about with regards to certain areas. So when you grow up and you don't have these basic things, you can do one of two things. You can perpetuate it on your children, or you can say, you know what, not this house. And so I've always been the kind of person that said, you know what, not me. Not me. No, growing up with no food in your freezer, I have freezers full of meat that I hunted and grew and acquired. Veggies, uh, storage for food, storage for goods. My children will never experience what I experience, because they don't have a responsible father. I take my responsibilities very seriously in terms of providing for my children, and not only do my wife and my children, my family. I show it. I show it. I show it through the hard work, the commitment, the dedication, the persistency, the consistency, and seeing the results, seeing the increase. One of the things that I remember uh, growing up was the heat getting turned off. Before, they turned off your heat. Now, currently, they have laws, I think, where, they just can't turn off your heat. But as we see the economic collapse take place, as we see the moral, spiritual decline, the 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 inflation, uh, these things come up, the poverty that's coming up on people, because it was all prophesized: rich and poor, free and bond. Certain people just have made the determination that they're going to be poor, and other people have made the determination that they're going to be rich. And they ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? They are stacking all of the necessary resources to ensure that they and their families are um, well taken care of. And I don't fault anybody for doing that. Now, how you do it is a totally different matter. Uh, Me, I do it the just, honest, holy, and true, and correct way of going about doing it. I work hard for what I have. Uh, there's nothing like being cold. Uh, no, no, no. I will not be having it. And so, what we have today is a lot of people that can't pay their bills, that are struggling. I have people on Facebook and on, especially on Facebook, or only on Facebook. It's only put social platform on or outside of YouTube. I don't have Instagram or TikTok, any of that. I just don't have time. But I get DMs all the time of people asking for money. I mean, just flat out, just I don't know you from a can of paint, and you asking me for money. Uh, of course, I don't give. I don't know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know nothing about you. Uh, and then when you look at the profiles, it's amazing, right? Don't believe people profiles, because people will present themselves as some successful business owner and this, that, and the third, and they have these glamorous, cute, pretty pictures. But when you look at their life, when you inquire about what's going on, they dirt poor. There is nothing about them is the truth. I mean, we have entered into an age as to where people can get on social media and present themselves in such a way that it is totally contrary to the reality of their life. It is amazing. And this is more and more common in this day and age. It's common in this day and age to ask somebody, um, you on your profile, you said that you own this business. No, I don't own that. I just work at Walmart. Then why do you have something that you don't own or you don't do? What? I don't understand that. It's not true. Why would you have unfake information on the pro? Because it is fake information. Well, one time I did it, or one time I did. It's fake information. No, you don't do that. Uh, I digress. But the idea of being able to provide for warmth, because hey, I don't have a heating bill, so therefore I don't have to worry about the heat being turned off. I don't have a mortgage or a water bill. I don't have to worry about these things. I don't have a car note. None of my stuff is financed. It's all paid for. I don't have to worry about them coming. I don't owe nobody nothing. The way they can come and take. And I'll tell you, that IRS stuff, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they come and they take and they take. But yes, I don't owe none of these people nothing. And this is the freedom and the beauty associated with this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that's going to go cold this winter. Why? Because they can't afford to pay the bills. They can afford the iPhone, no. They can afford that iPhone, no. You know what I'm saying? But it's a sad situation what we have in society today. So this is how I deal with these situations. I produce for myself to make sure that we don't have to. We don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to be warm this winter. 8 of these pallets, and I did that. That was one tree. Yeah, that was one dead tree, and cut that up, and boom, that took one day. But 4 pallets. That's half the supply of wood that we need for a winter. Well, I use about 8 pallets of wood. Each pallet is 4x3. You do the math for those who can do math. And we have plenty. I got wood to process over there. I got, plenty of wood. I'm going to process it all. I'm going to stack it because you can you can store wood for, you know, at least 3 to 5 years if it's well uh, maintained, and if it's covered. And that's the name of the game, you know, just putting the tarps over it, making sure the tarps over it before it rains. But when it's not, just let it sit out in the sun and let it just bake in the sun. You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, it's just right there. It's just right there. So, you know, you get it to dry out. You want it to continue to dry. Then we have our kindling pile over here, and this is what I get the children to do. The children did all of this. I mean, the brother and we were doing all this stuff, but they helped too. The children, you know, they can, after I, chop it up, they go ahead and they do all of this. Piece by piece. It looks like it's all heavy, but individually, you know what I'm saying, a child can pick it up. So all of this stuff is thought through, you know, but this is what the children, that's the last thing that your children are responsible for. They're responsible for putting it in the cart and getting it in the house, and they can do that all day long. It's their responsibility to stack the wood, and it's their responsibility to get the wood in the house. I don't do anything after that. I source the wood, I split the wood, they stack the wood, they bring the wood into the house, and mama burns the wood. It's a system of efficiency, but you know, there's a lot of people today, they like efficiency. I mean, you know, it ain't nothing more sadder than the man that can't keep his heat on. I mean, it's just a sad deal. But this is what we have in the hour that we're living in. Men that are just irresponsible, families that's women that is irresponsible. I mean, it's just sad. Don't be one of them. Do what's necessary in order to preserve you and your family, because tough times ain't coming. They're here. They are a living reality for a vast majority of people in this country today. And I don't care what these folks put on social media. When you look at the mannerisms of their lives, it is a total mess. Believe nothing that you see on social media. You better check people out, because the persona, you know, or the image that they give out there themselves, you know what I mean? Hey, you better check people out, you know, find out who you're dealing with. You should know them. That labor amongst you. You better know folk, you know what I'm saying? Because you dealing with a selfish, self-centered ass person that don't care about nobody but themselves, and just concerned with themselves, and hey, want everybody to come and serve them. And I tell you, man, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. So be careful out there, because there are a lot of sick people mentally out there, and it amazes me. It really does amaze me to come across the amount of mentally sick people that are out here today, and that claim and think that they're logical, think that they're reasonable, think that that you know, they think these things, man. They really do think these things, but it ain't so. We're gonna get all these pallets, all this wood. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it all on the pallets, and that's 3 rows of wood. It's about 25, 30 pallets over there. You really can't see them, but stack them all up just like that. Just like that. Stack them all up. Split it all up. See, I cut this up a little bit more, and then put it on the wood splitter and cut all of these up. But all this is going to be processed and stacked. This is good wood. Real good wood. But we're going to get after it. We're going to get after it. The Most High has blessed us with the resources, and we're going to use those resources wisely. Be a wise use of resources, because they are, for the average person, they are not abundant. They are not abundant. They are not plentiful for the vast majority of people out there. So you're going to have to be wise with what you have. Be content with what you have. Be responsible. Get it done. All right, you have a blessed day. Shalom.